Hello, everybody. This is Coach Allison back with Defy Aging for week 49. So this week we have two kind of sections to the workout. The first section is going to be an in your own space superset, and it's going to be all lower body. So you'll stay, of course, in your own little area. And I don't know, yes, we do need a weight. So you'll need a dumbbell or a kettlebell for that. Second exercise, there's no weights at all, but we're going to go through that for something. You think I'd have this memorized, but my brain doesn't do that. 20 seconds on, 40 seconds off for 3 rounds. So you'll stay in your own space for that. Since it is 20 on and 40 off, that means you can give that 20 seconds, everything you got, because you have double the amount of time for your rest afterwards. You have 40 seconds of rest. So keep that in mind when you're selecting the weight you need for that one exercise, which we'll demonstrate in a moment. After that's all wrapped up, the stations will already be, out, or at least nearly set up. The coaches might have to pull them into the space more if we had to clear some room, but whatever. We're going to switch to a standard circuit rotating around for 5 stations. That is also 3 rounds of 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. So kind of a more typical equal work and rest time for that. But you'll go around those 5 stations 3 times. Be prepared for possibly some doubling up of clients, of participants at each station, because there is only 5. So if you have a larger group, you'll have to double up a little bit. And we'll get that done. And then, of course, we have a little team builder at the end. So we'll go through that in the demonstrations. All right, speaking of the demonstrations, let's get to it. Okay, the first exercise for that in your own space superset is going to be a goblet sumo squat. So we do sumo squats quite a bit, and typically with the kettlebell, we'd have the weight straight down like this. We're going to hold it goblet style, so that's up at your chest like this. I like to hold it at the base of the handles. Some people like to hold the bell. That doesn't really matter, whatever you prefer. But it is going to be at the chest. And remember, sumos are the wide stance with the toes kind of slightly angled outward. And then when you go down into the squat, it's important that your knees track out and then end up right over the ankles. So if you're it is possible to go too wide. If you're too wide, see how my knee is here, but my ankle is kind of here. So that's too wide. If you're too narrow, it might just turn into a normal squat. But if you're angling your feet out, it might turn out to like a bow-legged squat where your knees are out too far and your feet are too far in. So it should be a comfortable, wide stance. You might need to use the mirrors once or twice to kind of get that down. And again, knees should be right over ankles. Okay, then we have our weight here, and we do that, sumo. And of course, the option to lower the intensity on that is to not grab a weight. So grab a weight when you're ready, if this is new for you. And then the second exercise, we'll just jump right in, because remember, they're both lower body, is a kneeling get up. Pardon me, lower that a little bit. Haven't done these for a while. Our longtime participants certainly know these. So you start in a tall kneeling position. We're going to bring one leg up. So you're now on a half kneel. Stand. That same leg that went up first, then goes down first. And you're back to the start. Since there's only 3 rounds, it's an odd number. I'm going to recommend alternating the leading leg with each rep. That can confuse a lot of people. So let me run through a couple of them in real time to show you what this looks like. I'm going to start with my right leg. Right leg leads up. Right leg leads down. That was 1 rep. So now I'm on to the second rep. Left leg. Left leg leads up. Left leg leads down. And right up. Right down, left up, and you see. But you can also think of it like the last leg to go down to the floor is then the first leg to come right back up. So you can always do a little assistance if needed, like a little push off with the leg and then a little helping of like lowering down if needed. But we want to look out for that becoming like excessive. So if you're having to like lean 100% on your leg and kind of make it really sloppy and like, I just try to make that look, I don't know. If it's too much, then we might want to take it to the full modify or the full substitution alternative, which is going to be a step up. So if kneeling get-ups either are not an option for you due to knees, or you're not quite there yet with the strength, and that's okay because you'll get there eventually, we'll go to step ups. Same thing, left up, left down, right up, right down. And you keep alternating that leading leg. Okay, so we go through that superset for 3 rounds of 20 seconds on, 40 seconds off. Remember, it's a lot of rest time, so you can grab a nice heavy kettlebell. And that's that part. I'll move on to the second part. All right, so we're on to the second circuit, the rotating one. So now the first exercise is a bird dog row. I know we had a variation of bird dog last week, so another variation this week. So I'm using a cable machine. You can use, if there's not one of those in your turf space, stumbling over my words, you can use a elastic band with a handle. So one end would be tied up to the rack, and you'll be doing the same thing with a band. So just FYI. So how do I get all of me in here? Well, you know my back leg is just sticking out back doing nothing. So I have the handle in my right arm. I'm going to lift then my left leg. You want to be back far enough so that the weight stack lifts just a little, because between every rep, you don't want it to hit like this. I know you can't see that, but you could hear it. So make sure you back up just a little. Okay. So my right arm is out with the cable. My left leg is straight. I'm going to turn my palm neutral grip. So that's palm turned inward. And we hold the leg and row. So it's kind of an isometric with the lower body, but movement with the upper body. Now with this one, what I see a lot of is kind of the hand coming down here. So don't do that. Keep your elbow right along your side. Pretend you're bringing the handle into your armpit. Now if I was down here, that's not my armpit, right? So that way we keep it really tight and we keep it really controlled. Okay, halfway through the set. So 15-second mark, we'll switch sides. Should be a pretty quick, easy transition. So anyone not doing knee stuff, it's going to be a little, well, same but different. I'm just going to raise that up. I know you couldn't see. Let's raise that up a little bit. You can do this on our incline. Okay? Oh, wait, I'm doing that wrong. You don't put your knee on it. I'm going to grab this with my hand. Again, opposite leg is out, just like our normal incline bird dog. And we do this. See how it's the same as normal modified bird dog where we have the incline like that? Okay, so that'll be for anyone not doing our knee stuff. That one does take a little bit of setup and a little bit of work. So coaches will take a look at the attendance beforehand, and they know you guys pretty well. So if that incline option is needed, hopefully we'll have the bench and everything kind of set up and ready to go. Okay, station 2 for the circuit, seesaw chest press. We do lots of variations of chest presses. This is another one. Little safety tip before you lie back onto the floor. We have the weights already in our lap. So put them up here. I have 2 different weights. No, they just feel different. And then lie back like this. So you already had the weights before you lied down. What you don't want to do is lay back, have the weights here, and then kind of struggle to pick them up like this. I have ones that are light enough for me where that wasn't dangerous. But if you're using the challenging weights that we want you to be using, picking them up like this shouldn't be comfortable, and it's kind of risky on our shoulders. So lay back with them already in your hands, please. Seesaw pattern. One arm starts up and they move simultaneously. It is quite a bit actually different than the standard alternating, which is what we normally do like this. It's a little more focused, like it's a little more mentally kind of confusing. So you got a little more cognitive requirements there. And also it kind of throws off the balance just a tiny bit more. So you have to kind of just focus on that stability. Anyways, do let the arm come all the way down to the floor between each rep. Now, when we do the seesaw, people tend to think of it as needing to be fast. So again, I have light enough weights where this isn't dangerous for me. It's not, the goal isn't speed like this. It's still normal speed control. It's just they're moving simultaneously to put them down safely. Again, now we don't want to, again, the weights are light enough for me. This isn't hurting me. Don't do this. Don't put them down like this. That's going to yank your arm and your shoulder and your bicep. Okay, so don't do that. Put them down like this. The bottom bell is going to go to the floor. It's okay if they fall after that. That is just, again, safety stuff. Anyone not getting onto the floor, we can wheel some incline benches or an incline bench into the space, so you'll be back on an incline doing that same thing. It's horrible description of that. Movement's exactly the same. You are on a bench instead of the floor, and that's what we'll do for an alternative. Station 3 is shuffle. It's been a couple of weeks since we've tackled those. So, or actually, was it in the team builder 2 weeks? Yeah, a couple weeks. I don't know. Shuffles. About a half or a quarter of a squat body position. Okay. And we do this. So notice my feet. You kind of have a little, I don't want to say a hop because it's so gentle. It's not even really a hop. It's just like a light lift, kind of a gliding in the air. I don't know. I'll do it from the front so you can see. See how my feet are kind of meeting in the middle? And I'm just doing this very gentle little hop. So, yeah, shuffles. The point is to stay low though. Like you don't stay, in that half or quarter squat like this. So we don't come up and just stay up tall. So keep that half quarter squat the whole time. And anyone who isn't doing that, again, I think if we are doing shuffles correctly, they're gentle enough where even if we have a knee issue or ankle or something, it should be okay. However, everybody's body and pain from different ailments is different. So if that one's not an option for you, let's stay stationary and do a lateral floor run. So that's the in, out, out. Like this. It's actually, I think, just as much impact as the shuffles, in my opinion, but out, out, in, out, in. That'll be your alternative if the shuffles aren't agreeing with your knees or ankles or anything like that. All right, but that is station 3. Station 4, we're going to hit more biceps. I know we had them last week. This will be totally different than last week. We're going to do hammer bicep curls. So we keep the palms turned inward like this, kind of like holding a hammer. It's the way you would hold a hammer. And we do curls at the same time. So from the side, I want to show you that I'm keeping my upper arm still. So it's like pretend you have Velcro or super glue on the inside of your arm and it's just stuck right there to your side. Okay. But what I mean by that is we're not letting the elbows fling forward like this. And we're also not letting, there's no momentum, so we're not letting them swing back. So everything should be slow and controlled. Let the arms come, that's another thing. Let the arms come all the way down. Very important, not for safety, but for efficiency and effectiveness. If we don't let the arm come all the way down, we aren't really getting a full rep. What I mean by that is I see this a lot, kind of stopping short. So we want to avoid that. Do come all the way, dead stop at the bottom, next rep. Dead stop at the bottom, next rep. Okay? Alrighty, that is our hammer curls. Final station is a plank variety, plank rocker, because we are going to rock back and forth. So, okay, there is not a knee version for this plank variety. It doesn't work on the knees because you're actually using your toes to push and pull yourself forward and back. So if you are one for whom a knee plank is your typical plank, you'll do the incline option, which I'll show you in a moment. Regular plank on your elbows. Okay, so we want the hips level with the parallel to the floor. We don't want them up here. Okay, look out for that. And then we use our feet to kind of push forward and pull back. When you go forward, your body might sink down just a touch, but we don't want to have it be excessive. Like we're not coming all the way down like here, but forward and back, forward and back. Okay. And again, that does not work on the knees. So if you are doing the incline option, again, look out for this. We see this a lot. So we don't want those hips up, but it is the same. Forward and back, forward and back. All right. So that is our plank variety for this week. And that's actually the final station as well. Okay. The team builder, it's kind of like last week where it's an in your own space individual thing. So it's more of a finisher. Last week's targeted legs. This week's going to target shoulders. We didn't have any isolated shoulder exercises in the whole routine. So we're going to hit those now. So it's going to be 3 things, 10 reps of each, and we're going to go through it 2 times. So you are kind of at your own pace for this. And those 3 things are standard shoulder presses, nothing fancy, not just palms forward, overhead presses. We do these all the time. I personally like to do these with a staggered stance. So if you put most of the weight on your front leg, kind of use your back leg as a kickstand. I find that helps my lower back. Doesn't matter, whatever you like. Then, that's the only thing you need weights for. And then it's a high plank shoulder tap, 10 each side, so that is 20 total. So you're either in a high plank on your toes, in a high plank on your knees. If you're doing knees, look very careful for this, because this isn't involving any core work. This is really just being on your hands and knees. Now if I sink my hips level, now I'm activating my core. And you can do incline just like we did for the plank rocker. So 3 options of how you'd like to set up for this, but this is the shoulder tap. 1, 1, 2, 2. and that's how you'll count that. Last one is a prone arm raise. Yeah, sorry, I had to look, at that. It's a T arm or an I arm raise. So you're lying on your stomach, head down. Now it's not Superman, so you're not lifting your torso and your legs. You are just lifting the arms up and down. Try to keep my hair. Try to keep your arms as straight as they can go. If you bend them, start to bend them like this, it takes away a lot of the rear delt focus that we want. So try really hard to keep them as straight as arrows and up down. Again, we're not lifting the torso. Okay, it's just the arms. 10 of those. Anyone not doing floor things, you can take that same incline bench that we use for the chest presses, and you can lie, straddle the bench and lie forward on it. So you're forward, here's the bench, and then you put your arms here and go up and down. So that works great. A little uncomfortable pressing against your chest, but it's not too bad. So that is the alternative for that. Anyways, 2 rounds of that. So it's going to be all shoulder. Okay. So it's getting the top of the shoulder from the press. It's getting our anterior delt, which is the front because of that plank. And it's getting the rear delt, which is that arm raise. So we are covering the entire shoulder. All right. Have fun with that one. Okay. That is week 49. And at week 50, the next week will be mobility week. So we will hit another week of mobility coming up next week. So be ready for that. Some stretching, mobility stuff, minimal weights. It'll be if you're new with us within the last 10 weeks, you haven't done a mobility week with us yet. So get ready for that. Anyways, other than that, enjoy week 49.